So, but yeah, I think, I just think that that was just a great display from Zapman, what he's capable of doing there. But I do want to talk about what changes will come for Game 2, because we saw the Zeus-Sylvanus combo be such an impact in that game. The Camazotz combo, or coming in for Divios, all that health that he had, pretty much a presence in the team fight throughout. What does Hapi do for Game 2?
One thing I would really like to see them do, while I feel as though the hot wall was a pretty strong pick for Juan and he was playing it really well, at the same time, I think that he was kind of struggling finding a way to really get around Eager's composition. I think that Hapi need to focus a little bit more on a protective backline, in that they shouldn't really be looking for the chalk so much, and maybe a little something with like a lot more peel in the kit to try and help the mid laner in like any kind of like fickle situation, so that way he's not kind of just left alone and then dying after, you know, one or two damaging abilities.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's almost like Team Hapi have kind of like looked at every single Smite god and said, which one deals the most damage? We're going to pick that one.
Yeah.
And that's what you see with their comp. They've got the Artemis, one of the highest damaging ADCs in the game. We've got the Hardwire, one of the highest burst mages in the game, and you kind of see that transitioning, and that's why they maybe kind of stay away from those conventional picks.
Yeah, I mean, it did work out in some respects for the Artemis as well. I mean, we haven't seen Artemis played on the world stage at all this tournament. Pops out, you know, solo Zapman. You said it was an inevitable thing that needed to occur. But you know what, though? I'm sure he's looking for some more revenge going into Game 2, Zapman. He's a vindictive one, I guess. And now on the other side here, Eager right away gets rid of the Hobwa, says, not today. We're not even going to let you have it. This is it. Get out of the pool.
I can't really blame Eager for wanting to do that, though, because even though, like I said, they were having a bit more map control and a lot more dominance in those jungle fights for the buff invades, at the same time, if a Hobwa gets to late game, you still have a lot to worry about, especially since Hapi definitely love pairing damage with more damage. So I really don't think Eager are trying to deal with any sort of tides turning for them.
We see a lot of respect from Eager given to Juan here, banning out the two characters he's performed on. I think they're kind of establishing him as the main playmaker in the team, and they want to shut him down, make sure he doesn't get on the comfort picks. And you see Team Hapi just opting for those kind of standard bans, the Giannis and the Terra.
Yeah, they really don't. They got to experience it yesterday, dealing with Giannis and Terra, and I know that they just aren't really trying to run it back if they're not planning on using it.
Most notably Terra, too. If you're not going to use it yourself, then, because they had that first pick last, and that was their first choice, so it makes a lot of sense that they would just get rid of that right off the bat, because NA knows how to play that god really well.
Oh, yeah, no. There's a reason why Terra hardly ever makes it into the competitive stage when it comes to NA, and she just provides way too much to the team. But Sylvanus, I think, is a really strong pick coming out for Eager. I mean, it goes along with the conventional healing meta play style that Eager love to run in NA. And at the same time, I do like this pickup by Hapi, opting for the Odin to try and potentially look to shut down any sort of healing composition coming out from Eager.
I mean, it's a great pick. That's something I've always said, is just get the Odin if someone picks Sylvanus. Why not? They could even pair it with something like a Nemesis and just really try and farm the Sylvanus and get ahead via that method. We do see the Awilix, though, with Team Hapi. We could assume it's going to a jungle, but you never really know with these guys where they're going to put their characters. And
there goes that Sylvanus Zeus combo again.
They love it.
Yeah, what are you going to do, you know?
It's just so much, it's really hard to take up any sort of engagement with Eager in those jungle corridors, because if you turn a corner and you're caught with your teammates too close together, that Zeus Chain Lightning is going to be devastating as soon as he detonates. And I mean, we saw Best getting away with a lot of that last game, despite the times that he had a little bit of questionable positioning. I still think that it worked out very effectively for him. So, I mean, Eager are more than happy to just go ahead and run that back.
That was a smart ban there as well, just getting rid of Zapman Jingwei. Not today. We're not going to deal with it for Game 2. Good ban, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very solid ban. You don't want Zapman on something that's really comfortable for him. We saw maybe, you know, if he's getting soloed on Jingwei, if we can get him something on a lower tier character, then maybe he could potentially even get more behind. But it's very hard to put a Jingwei behind due to that passive.
Yeah, most likely I would probably expect Zapman to opt for something that goes pretty heavily into Eager's composition. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bring out the Rom or even an Anhur, really. I mean, they're both picks that he's pretty accustomed to. And at the same time, you know, on the side of Hapi, you're not really certain whether that's going to be a Soul mid or even a Soul ADC. We see the tease hover
boy.
of Anubis, and we've seen Knight as Anubis from previous seasons with China, but I don't think it's going to be making a comeback. I'm not sure anybody after Knight has really taken up the stand for it.
I don't want to see an Anubis pick, but at the same time, I do want to see an Anubis
You want
pick.
to see the world burn?
I like to see the hype. I like to, you know, Geb would be a more solid pick for sure. We haven't actually seen Team Hapi really play a conventional support, so it'd be interesting to see how they kind of develop around that and play that actual real support role.
I prefer this from Team Hapi, considering the fact that they already have an Awilix. And I think that the Geb pairing with it is only going to help them as far as trying to get a little bit more setup going for their team, because I think that it can actually synchronize quite well. And China seem like they're very strong in that Hapi know how to get picks. They just don't really seem how to really engage as one entire team, because they tend to struggle a bit with team fights. So if they pick something based around like solidifying the team fight, I think it would help them out greatly.
It's interesting to see Zapman opting for the Anhur here over the Ram, I believe, just due to the fact that there isn't a Awilix on the team. But maybe it's also due to the fact that he's trying to kind of play around the Odin, perhaps, where, you know, Rama can kind of get trapped in there.
I think it's a little bit safer for him to go ahead and pull out an Anhur, considering the fact that they do have an Odin. Just because if a Ram gets trapped inside the Odin cage, even though you have the Awilix presence, that could be devastating for him. I still feel like it'll be easier for him. Plus, the shifting sands on Anhur will go really well with their team composition.
Yeah, and Thanatos.
Yeah,
A classic one.
Yeah,
I
right?
mean, it's an interesting pick. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, so could this be it? Could this be Hapi's running the tournament right here? How do you feel about this draft for the Chinese team?
I feel like it's really unconventional. They could potentially pull it off, but I think Eagers is just more to what they know, and that it'll probably be a bit easier for them to go ahead and secure this.
Heard that word quite a bit for the Chinese squad, unconventional. So you got Eager. What do you got, Suntouch?
Team Hapi are warmed up. This is going to be an easy win for my boys at Team Hapi. Eager don't stand a chance.
Okay.
It's all over.
All right, well, let's go ahead. Send it over to your casters for game 2. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Analyst Desk. Oh, I didn't expect to be here this morning, but here I am.
Your accent changed.
I actually just cut my hair, and it all changed.
Oh, you can tell. You got a full makeover. Looking a little bit better. Don't tell him I said that. No, unfortunately, Tom a little bit sick. I'm sure you guys all noticed. He's going to rest up for the day and come back tomorrow. But yeah, Hapi coming out against Eager here. I actually do kind of like this composition, and interesting enough, they did take away a little bit of what LG did yesterday with that Cataclysm on Geb into the Soul Ultimate combo.
Yeah, and I really like the Anhur pick, classic Zapman, my boy. I love me some Anhur.
You do love Anhur.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this matchup?
The Anhur into the Soul. I think it's perfectly fine. Anhur, he can deal with the poke and he can deal with the pressure, and Anhur can also deliver pressure.
So is that a Thanatos mid?
Oh, wait, what? It is.
Oh,
With a short bow.
Zyros?
Okay, so Thanatos mid coming out. I mean, so China runs a lot of weird things here. I actually do like the Thanatos into this composition, simply because Thanatos is incredibly strong against gods, you know, with a little bit wider hitboxes, and also have planting ultimate. So, example, Ymir or Sylvanus, where when they ultimate, they're stuck in place, they're very slow, they have no way to escape, and you actually can't miss that Thanatos ultimate as long as you play it perfectly right. There's no way to juke it.
So when Zyros played the Thanatos mid, it used to be for the early pressure and the extreme damage from the Thanatos' sides and his one.
This is actually pretty rare for this tournament so far, seeing such a standard start coming out from both teams.
I think that's a little bit because of what happened at the beginning of last game. There was just so much going on that Eager got lost in the chaos. And so they're just going to play very standard and safe and not try and do anything crazy here, especially up against the Thanatos. This is something that I'm assuming Best hasn't played against in quite some time, so may not be used to exactly how this matchup's going to work.
Yeah, and he also doesn't have any actives. He didn't pick up Bees or Aegis, so he's probably just waiting to decide later on and see what he wants.
I think it's one of those things where you don't always want to invest into purification, but you know, if you can hold out, it's definitely worth it. If he gets picked up or if he feels like he's getting pressured too much, he probably will.
Early camps there going the way of Team Eager. Talk to me a little bit about what this Camazotz solo brings to the table, Fumble.
So the Camazotz solo brings out hard pressure and hard potential to keep, continuously apply pressure to this Odin. And Odin only has his jump and his bird bomb damage, which clears the waves early game, while Divios can keep applying pressure and keep poking out that Odin, force that Odin to recall as he has no sustain.
Yeah, Camazotz has so much sustain in his kit, and so it just stacks up, and that's one of the reasons that Ratatoskr can work as well. But DJ actually taking a weird loop around the jungle. He stole away the back rights, but it gets read out, and you can see already Hapi rotating to try and catch him.
Yuan's already level 4, hits him with the death side. Knock up there from Santorsky. DJ, though, manages to get the dash away. His beads were burnt.
Did he hit the death scythe?
No, he missed it.
Yeah, I thought so. That's one of the things about Thanatos, and we saw it the other day as well, is that he's so reliant on hitting that death scythe. Nice jump from Divios there, actually avoiding the bird bob. That timing it's a very small window.
Yeah, an early game 1v2 in this early in the game as Camazotz versus an Odin and Awilix it just shows how great Divios of a player is.
And the lifesteal coming up from Camazotz, the sustain that he can bring as well. You know, while the Odin does a lot of burst damage, Camazotz then can sustain it up.
And Zap just putting this pressure on. This is really good for Eager. With Soul, typically you really want to get lane control. She's very good at poking out other hunters. Obviously, Stellar Burst hits such a wide area that it's hard to position in lane. And because Zap's going to have this pressure, it's going to really allow him to rotate over.
But this is classic Zapman. He's playing aggressive. He had the red buff before, ready to go in.
Oh, Yuan pulled in there. Stone Shield comes through from Santorsky. TheBest, though, detonates the charge. Down goes Yuan. First blood to Team Eager.
That's really unfortunate, too. You actually see the Odin teleporting to mid, expecting a team fight to break out. This means he's going to miss the wave being pushed into right, and Divios is just getting this free farm. Probably going to look to block him from even getting back to lane.
But going back to the duo lane, like I said, Zapman is that type of aggressive person. That's who he is, no matter what happens. And he wants to get the pressure. That's why he got the red buff early game, just ready to fight.
I think one of the things, too, is he did get soloed last game,
so
and he might want to... That might actually be the only reason he picked up Anhur, you know, especially against an Awilix. Obviously, you want to be a little bit careful on, you know, picking up gods with jumps later in the draft. I think he wants to take this fight to Maker.
Yeah, and when until, you know, just pick the Anhur, ready to go aggressive.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Two men in the left-hand side lane there. Santorsky splitting some farm with Maker. djpernicus again going aggressive, pathing towards the left-hand side mid-camp.
And DJ's just doing a really good job of farming around the map. He hasn't really been involved in too much. He's just drawing the attention of Hapi. And this is a very safe standard game plan from Eager. This is not something we've seen from them in quite some time. They were very heavy on the invades at Super Regionals, but just wanting to play it incredibly safe. And they also do have, you know, really good control at the Gold Fury, I think, too. The Zeus ultimate going to be able to zone players out. Same with the Roar's ultimate as well. Ratatoskr, it's just so hard to fight into that mid-support combo.
Yeah, and while I like Hapi's team comp, I feel like the Sol as the only magical damage aside from the Geb is, I don't know, I'm not super keen on that, and the Thanatos needs to get ahead early for them to, you know, have a really good late game and pressure.
We can see Yuan just leaving that short bow there and then going into boots too. You know, why do you think he went this short bow start? What does that give him?
He's actually looking for Zapman here, who, unfortunate. Zapman just getting back there, and you can see Yuan just didn't have the angle on it. He actually went forward, knew he was backing, but couldn't see that ring around.
Yeah, and that was just unlucky from Yuan.
Oh, Maker actually gets the purification off to stop the knock-up into his immunity frames. Aror, ooh, just barely mistiming the pull there onto the ADC of Team Hapi.
Yeah, I feel like Zapman should have recalled earlier. I think he was just waiting for Devil Gloves, and if he got picked there, that would have been unfortunate, as the Thanatos would have picked up the kill, which is what Thanatos needs early game.
Solo lane, Fightingj boxing out here with Divios. Shield is popped, but the amount of damage coming out of that Camazotz means it's not available for Fightingj to use that combo.
And just looking at the net worth, I mean, the Odin's a little bit behind there, about 300 gold. And here comes Eager. I mean, this should be a free gold cure. You could see Yuan rotating in, but he shouldn't get there in time. Eager grabs it and immediately just the retreat. They got what they wanted, just backing out. And look at this, again, a 3K gold lead.
Oh, Best pulled in there, but Purification's away. The final bit of the pull. Here comes djpernicus. They're looking now for Maker. Can he get away over the wall? He can.
Zap's gonna jump forward. Oh, this is trouble for Maker too. He's one hit. Zapman lines it up. Desert's Fury finds Maker. 4 players of Eager in the mid lane as well. They might actually look to push down this tower. This kind of ended perfectly. You could see not only picking up Maker, bluewhale's forced back, Fightingj getting dove by himself against Divios. Good Geb's shield though, gonna keep him alive. Cataclysm locks Divios in place, and here comes the rotation, but Divios is still alive. To the sky, execute by Juan.
djpernicus here though, looking to clean up, picks up one. He might be looking for Fightingj as well. Not enough mana there for DJ, but the best is here. Chain Lightning, can he get the detonate off in time? The Raven Shield gonna save the life of Fightingj.
And djpernicus just immediately focused on this tower right now. Fightingj still hanging around. You can see djpernicus, no mana, but I mean, this Odin, he shouldn't be staying here this long. He has teleport. Divios!
bluewhale gets the kill. Now Fightingj is looking for the best, no mana, no health. He gets the kill back onto Fightingj. Chain Lightning just to slow him down. He's gonna live.
Now, one thing I want to point out there is that the Awilix went in alone, and then Fightingj went in again. And where was his team? I think there was a lack of communication there.
The biggest surprise for me is Fightingj had teleport up the whole time.
Yeah.
He easily could have backed and teleported back in. I don't know if they had wards in their inventory. Hello, Maker! Zapman looking for the last basic. Zapparate gonna keep him alive for now. The jump forward just off the mark. Maker, Zapman didn't even notice he went down there. A little bit too scared of Juan.
Wow, incredible work there from Juan to keep his teammate alive. Zapman very low here. Does he have a jump? He's got the beat. DJ though, bluewhale gonna get the kill. Can Pern clean up the kills here? It doesn't look like it. Zapman falls down to Team Hapi.
I don't think that was Zapman that he didn't know. I think he knew that Thanatos was coming, and he didn't want to spend too much time going for the kill. However, he should have gone for the kill, but he didn't know Awilix was rotating.
It might have been one of those things where he's like, okay, I could get this kill, but I'm probably dead if I take those couple extra seconds. It just ended up unfortunate for him, that Awilix rotation from the mid lane. That's what he really wasn't expecting.
Best knocked up, pulled in here by bluewhale. Cataclysm, one with the execute. The Zeus ultimate came down, but it was not enough to save the life of the Best.
I have never seen Best by himself so much in both of these 2 games. This is really surprising coming from him, because normally they play this style where it's Aurora and Best hip to hip, and djpernicus is always very close around them, and they kind of rotate as this 3-man unit, letting Divios and Zapman on the sides deal with their individual lane opponents.
So Yuan with his Thanatos, I'm hoping he goes for the Shield of Regrowth here. It's a really good item for Thanatos. He gets the extra movement speed and he's good to go.
And yeah, it's so helpful. And that item has actually recently come back into the meta. Naja picking it up too, just that bonus MS, so useful for rotating around, either chasing players or getting away.
Yeah, and we saw it on Cherio actually at the group stage, where he picked up the Naja and he went Shield of Regrowth. He went for more like a pen style build, which you can also go with Thanatos. So I'm wondering if he can go with he can go the same build with the Thanatos. Interesting
enough, he picked up Iqvile here, which is not the best. I mean, typically you're not trading a ton of basics as Thanatos. Normally it's ability damage, and then having your team poke players into that execute range.
Right, but Iqvile is a really strong item early game. It's only 1700 gold, and it provides you with a small amount of pen, is what you need against, especially like a tanky character like Sylvanus with the Wisps.
Could the Thanatos be a little bit of a counter to the sustain comp coming out from Team Eager, given his execute?
Yeah, and that's what Lich did as well. That's what they went for. They kept focusing on Sylvanus, getting the ultimates and ready to go in.
It's always risky though, because technically it's a counter to sustain comps, but sustain comps are kind of a counter to executes as well, because if you're not careful and someone gets a big heal, whether it's a meditation or the Wisp just puts you over that execute threshold, and then you're not going to execute a player. Well, now as Thanatos, you're really deep in a team fight and weren't able to pick anyone up. So it's a very risky play either way, and Juan's going to have to play it perfectly.
Either way. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Bluewhale. Fightingj though, trying to clear the wave under his own tower there. Divios has kept the pressure up here. 4-man rotation from Team Hapi, looking towards Zapman here, but Zapman spots it out, playing it very safely, walking back towards his own tower, and they could be looking to the mid lane now.
They're actually trying to pick Juan as he rotates back in. bluewhale still hanging around on the left-hand side though, and Zapman just off the mark. Nice jump from bluewhale there. And this is great. This is what you see a lot from Eager, is both Zapman and Divios are very good at holding 2 players in their lane.
So what Zapman did there was he placed a ward without getting any poke from there, and he didn't jump when the Soul used the 2. He just backstepped, ready to go in.
Yeah, it's known as the Barra backstep, but
you're gonna find rage.
Wiggle.
Fightingj gonna cage people in, and actually Santorsk around the side does find the Cataclysm. DJ's in the sky right now.
DJ looking to crash down. He does manage to pick up 2, waiting for some
Huge
damage to come out
ult
of the
from
best.
Aror.
Aror picks up 2 with the ultimate. Turn actually gets the kill. One falls down to the best, and here comes Zapman. They're looking for Fightingj. Now they're turning their sights towards Maker, and then the Gold Fury.
Just such a great job from Best and Aror. They don't panic inside that ultimate from Fightingj. They pop the shell. Best just make sure to stay around Aror, stay safe. They wait. The second it ends, Aror finds that perfect ultimate, knocking 4 players up, the chain lightning combo. This is why Eager run this combo, specifically for those situations.
And they're just such good players. They make it look so easy as well.
Yeah, and Eager there, they could have gone for the mid tower, but they're going to get it now. They went for the Golfer and they opted to go for the Soul Gank, which I think is perfectly fine. They're going to get pressure on the left tower, and they should be able to get it, assuming that djpernicus stays there. If not, then it's perfectly fine.
And that's one of the things, too, is that Gold Fury obviously going to be respawning. Towers are always permanent. They felt like they were going to get the towers at the same time. They don't actually get the left-hand side one, but Eager have just played a very slow, methodical game this time. They've got over a 6,000 gold lead. If you look at the side of Hapi, though, a lot of them coming back into this game, I think, is going to rely on this Soul, as actually Hapi going very aggressive, looking to invade the speed.
Divios, though, looking to turn around. Fightingj around the backside, though, could be looking for a big cage here. 3 men of Eager groups up. Cataclysm into the cage. Downfall's the best. Up in the sky goes Juan. He's looking for a target here, but no one's in threshold. Bluewhale impaled by Zapman. Zapman looking for the kill, but the Stone Shield saves Bluewhale for now. Can the Desert Fury pick it up? He can't. An in-hand will do it for Zap.
And actually, Pern still in the sky. They're going to be looked. Santorsky left alone. Divios gets the kill, and Juan just bailed on his team from the get-go.
Yeah, so Zapman actually rotated there. That was one of the best things they can do. As Zapman's already so far ahead, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if he rotates or not. But yeah, like you said, Adonis, this Soul is a key, to get ahead back into the game, and he's just too far behind right now.
And you can see, he's invested into the Celestial Legion helm, but at this point, I mean, it costs so much. Yeah, you get a decent amount of magical power, but I feel like if he's getting jumped on in the back, regardless, I feel like he just needs more damage right now, because there's not a lot of guaranteed damage on the side of Hapi.
And a lot of it is physical as well. It's a bit easier to build physical protection than it is magical protection. Can you expand on that a bit, Fumble?
Yeah, physical protection items are stronger in this game, as there's not many different pen items for physical characters, but mage items, mage pen is easy to buy.
Oh, this is gonna be trouble for Hapi. Good juke by Zapman, and that's bought time from the rotation from Aror. Knock up onto Juan pushed into the wall. Soul trying to ult, and just force Zapman off to save his mid laner, but it's not gonna happen. Zap with a great impale finds Juan. He's gonna pick up his 3rd as well. Zapman seems so much more comfortable this game.
Yeah, he's so far ahead, and he hit the red buff. He was hitting after the Igval procs. He was hitting for about 192 per AA, which is early game. It's 13 minutes in, and he's already doing that much damage.
Left-hand side, Zapman gonna pick up the tier 1 tower here with the help of Aror. Misses the impale onto Bluewhale, but that's all right. They're happy with the towers falling down basically across the map.
At this point for Eager, this is what they want to do, because they're so far ahead in their individual lanes. They can just have Divios just constantly put pressure on this right-hand side. He has no issue going against Fightingj. djpernicus is just going to roam around looking for any jungle to steal, and it's going to be a 3-man unit of Zapman, Aror, and Best, where it's very hard to fight into that, and djpernicus has his ultimate to get to any fight where they find trouble.
Yeah, and Hapi needs to, they need to get farm. They just need to get their Soul back into the game. They need to let him farm, and that's what they need to get back into this game. And this Odin hasn't really been doing much aside from that 1 cage that he got from the before.
And he's got Blink online now, obviously hitting level 12, but the issue is that they don't have anything outside of the Soul to really dive into. Aror finds a pluck on a Juan, who immediately ults to the sky, just trying to stay alive. He's actually positioning himself over Aror right now, and DJ's in the sky as well to try and counter this out.
1-man knock up there on to Bluewhale. Bluewhale jumps away, however, rooted in place by Aror. Juan diving the Best, but the Best uses the Zeus ultimate. Juan in, oh, the pillar was perfect from Zapman there. Best picks up the kill with a detonate.
Divios just going to jump forward here, and he actually burns the Sanctuary on Maker. Maker does get a shield, but he burnt. Oh, so unfortunate, wasting that Supernova. Low on mana as well. Nice poke, but they've got a Sylvanus and a Meditation, and Hapi really just have nothing to stop this push on this tier 2.
Yeah, Yuan went for the blink play, and we've seen this in the last game as well. He plays too aggressive sometimes, and he got picked for that.
And a big thing too is his death slice have not really been on point this game. That's one of the biggest risks about Thanatos is, you know, it's not easy to hit his abilities like it is for other junglers like a Thor per se.
Yeah, and that's one character that you need to practice on.
DJ in a little bit of trouble here, forced to burn the Sanctuary as his team take the tier 2 tower, but just a worthwhile trade there for Team Eager.
And just Eager are just going to keep up this pressure because they have the Sylvanus. Teams are going to have to answer something because Eager are always picking up some form of sustain in every single composition they run, and it's usually augmented by at least one meditation, and they're so good at holding them and playing around exactly when they need to utilize it. They don't just burn it the second someone gets low.
Fightingj goes in there onto TheBest, who uses his beads, and Sanctuary knocked up there by Santorsky. Down comes the Zeus ultimate. They're looking to get some kills in return. Eager, Desert Fury trying to get Santorsky, impales, Zapman gets one. He's looking for Fightingj now, but the execute from Yuan. Divios picks up Maker. It's a hell of a bloodbath.
Yuan gonna fall as well. Zapman finds two. djpernicus chasing on top of the tree, knocked up. And bluewhale falls. Divios finds three. It's a deicide for Eager at 16 minutes.
Gold Fury being taken now as well here. Look at the graphs, 14,000, now 15,000 experience, 10,000 gold as well for Team Eager. Going to be even more after this Gold Fury falls.
And the big thing there was just Best doing a great job of absorbing so much damage. He Sanctuaried early in the fight. The second the Sanctuary ended as well, Aror pops his shell. He actually did get into execute range early, but those healing wisps.
Yeah, and what Hapi tried to do there is perfectly fine. They tried to go for the Zeus. They forced everything on him. That's the only thing they could do there because they're so far behind. That's one of the only chances they could get to get back into the game.
They have to 100-0 someone or somehow slow the pace of this game down to allow Maker to farm up on this soul and get a couple more items. I mean, he's only got boots and Celestial Legion Helm finished right now, working on either the Demonic Grip or the Telekines. He almost should go into Telekines because he needs something very cheap and efficient.
As opposed to that, though, take me through the Best build a little bit. A lot of protection online.
Right. So what they want to do is try and keep Best, shut down. But Best has so much protection, so he tries to stay alive against the executions. As you said before, the heals. He was in the execution range once, and then he got out, and then he went back into it because they forced so much onto him.
But at the very least, he just bought so much time. Okay, Divios right now is by himself, 1v5. He's going to be looking for Maker here and still going very aggressive. He's got one more ultimate, and he's going to be caught inside the cage for now. Pulled actually out of the cage by his own team. Divios is going to be able to escape this, and 5 members of Hapi grouped up.
Zapman gets the kill there with the Desert Fury. Zapman looking for his second. He's looking for Maker. Can he find the enhance? The immunity frames are good for now. Pern diving. Zapman gets the second. He's looking for a triple here. Fightingj with the Raven Shield. Can he get the jump off in time? He can, but Eager turn their attentions to the right-hand side tier 1 tower and to Santorsky.
He's going to fall as well, surrounded. 3 kills for Eager right there, and this is just almost impossible for Hapi to come back into unless Eager makes some serious mistakes.
Yeah, and Divios knew how much he could tank and how much he had to get until his whole team started rotating.
Yeah, this is going to be they killed 3, they forced 1 back. Juan was the only one left alive who was split pushing in mid, and they just sent DJ to deal with it. I don't even know if Juan knows that DJ's behind him right now. They're going to find out pretty soon, though.
Team Eager takes the Fire Giant there. One knocked up by Zapman and chunked into Oblivion. Divios picks up the kill there. 5, 1, and 4 for the solo laner. Fightingj now needs to retreat to his tier 2 tower, and even then he might not be safe.
Oh my word. Aurora has 3,700 gold in hand right now as a support. That must feel really good. And that's the thing. I mean, because of this sustain that Aurora brings, Eager almost never has to back. So in a lot of situations when you're fighting, because Hapi has been doing some damage, getting some kills and fights, and that usually means that, okay, Eager's going to be able to take a tower and then have to back, but the sustain and the meditations just allow them to keep looking for more and more golden experience across the map, stealing jungle, farming up waves and taking towers.
One thing I want to mention is that Sol bought Telekines ring this late into the game. He just finished it a few seconds ago, and I feel like he should have gone a different item there, maybe a Polynomicon or something with extra damage, maybe even a shard at this point.
I think the biggest issue is he was trying to go into it, and he bought the tier 2, and then he's just, I'm stuck with this now. It's not that it's not super efficient to sell items in Smite. Every once in a while you can, and obviously late game when you want to switch out, but I think he just pigeonholed himself into a standard build he had planned earlier.
Right, but he was already so far behind. So
Oh, Maker in a little bit of trouble here, forced to use the ultimate. Divios looking for the kill there with the Camazotz. djpernicus in the sky as well. Immunity frames run out. My friend djpernicus runs out the life of Maker, right-hand side. Fightingj in a lot of trouble himself. Pops the cage in the jump, but Divios is there waiting for him. The Zeus ultimate as well as enough. Right-hand side, Phoenix gonna fall to Team Eager. Divios diving. The Titan pulled into the fountain there by bluewhale. Feather Step's gonna be enough to execute. He's looking for a one, gets the kill onto Divios. And now Team Eager looking to back out of the Titan
They've
pit.
got a Phoenix on the right-hand side, but they still need to be careful. Zapman was knocked up there, but Awilix already burned that ultimate, and Divios just diving a little bit too hard there. Now Eager going to be rotating around, just trying to take out everything that's possible.
Oh,
and actually, Aror finds a pull onto Santorsky, who's stunned against the wall. Chain lightning, detonate! Best finds his 6th of the game. This Zeus has been such a pivotal pick for Eager in the past few months.
For me as well, it's been this Sylvanus play from Aror. The blind pulls, or the pulls through the wall, really onto targets that have had no chance to cleanse the CC.
yeah, and Aror's a great play. He got the pulls, he has the shell, and he has the wisp for extra protection, which will allow Zeus with the wing 1 to stay alive for longer.
That's one of the biggest things about the Sylvanus pull as well when it comes to the geometry on the map is if you pull someone and they're already inside the wall, they can't purify.
Nope.
They're stuck in there. They're going to the other side. And so Aror knows those positions where they're not going to be able to do anything fast enough. Blink and a counter blink from Aror. He found a 3-man knock up. Zapman finds bluewhale.
Fightingj now in some trouble. Detonate could be enough to pick him up. It's going to be the jump from Zapman, who's got himself a double. Maker in immunity frames again, but once again, they've run out, and so will Maker. djpernicus picks up one in the mid lane. Maker falls down to the best. 3 Phoenixes down, Fire Giant on Eager. This is probably game.
And at this point, it's Santorsky left alive. You can see fire minions raining. It's a level 11 Geb at 22.5 minutes. Eager, they're going to walk forward here, and this is going to be game very shortly. Santorsky has admitted defeat. He's jumping in place in the fountain.
Team Eager taking down the Titan, and Team Eager moving on to the semifinals, and thus ends the journey of Team Hapi.
Yeah, the surrender vote came out. They knew after that team fight that they were about to lose.
And, you know, shout outs to Hapi, especially for that game 1. They looked really solid. Just doesn't pan out for them, unfortunately. And a little bit of it comes down to, you know, the Thanatos, at least in game 2, missing a few things, and just Eager really played a different style. They played the style, I think, that we saw at Super Regionals. We're just able to slowly snowball that golden experience lead.
Exactly right, and that's kind of what we've come to expect out of Team Eager is the momentum. And, you know, now they move on towards the semi-final. Their opponent's still yet to be determined, but Golden Boy and the analyst desk tell us what you guys saw in that game.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, and my goodness, what a slobber knocker that was in favor of the North American first seed Team Eager. Unfortunately for them, the Chinese team Hapi will be eliminated from the competition, going out 2-0 against Eager. If you're just joining us here, this certainly was a series that brought with it a lot of questions. A lot of questions that we're going to question things, because I think that's the appropriate thing to do now. Because you could break down Eager's performance and talk about how good they executed so many times, and, you know, just the kill after kill after kill that they were able to line up. But really, some interesting and unconventional choices made in the draft phase really set the tone for game 2 there, Taco.
Yeah, I think it really made things rough on Hapi, just considering the fact that it seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication coming out from the team themselves. We talked about it during the game when it happened on the right-hand side when Divios should have been dead inside that Odin cage, 5 people aggressing him. But then, unfortunately, an Awilix pull, write him out. And it's just little things throughout the match. It just seemed like they weren't really on the page. And, you know, that might have something to do as well with the fact that this isn't the typical roster coming out from Team Hapi, which, you know, due to unfortunate circumstances, that can happen. But at the same time, I still feel like Hapi, to a certain extent, kind of defeated themselves with the draft that they opted to go for. While I liked a little bit of how they were trying to synergize some with, like, the Geb and Awilix, at the same time, they picked Odin, but they don't really have a way to capitalize on an Odin due to the fact that they had no AoE damage, and I think that this lack of AoE damage really prevented them from being able to punish Best more.
Yeah, you definitely want to pair Odin more with those kind of Agnis, maybe the Kukulkans, the Poseidons. You really want, like you said, that big AoE damage from the mages, whereas they had the Thanatos middle, so it's very hard for them when they got some great engages. You got to give them credit to it. 4-man cages, 3-man Gebolts, 4-man Gebolts. They were all over the initiations, but they just lacked that damage to get them into execute thresholds.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about taking a, basically fighting a melee Thanatos into the mid against a ranged Zeus. That's one thing right there that kind of just already sets you up for failure. But then on top of that too, you're also using a god that in particular has a very high skill ceiling. You know what I mean? You need to be perfect. And there were also some times too where they just initiated when they really didn't need to. And by the way, for those of you in the house, can we get a round of applause? Because Zapman's about to hit 10K bits on that fan vote. Because Zapman made it to Worlds.
He earned it. That Anhur performance was crazy.
Yeah, those Anhur plays were incredible as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess since we might as well talk about it, right? Zapman, I mean, the guy had a great performance, shutout on Anhur. Why? I mean, he had the confidence going into that one for sure.
He had to show that he wasn't about the tactical feeding this game, and unlike the typical Zapman we're used to, compared to the last game. But you're right, he was very on point with his impales, with his pillars, a couple of times blocking them off. And
I love that one block around the corner.
Yeah, on Thanatos. He was just phenomenal with this Anhur gameplay, and you could tell that it's a really comfortable god. And I mean, Anhur is what he established his name on way back in the day with, so it's not unlikely to see Zapman playing this Anhur so well.
Yeah, it's one of his bread and butter picks. I learned myself how to play Anhur from his stream, and what a talented player.
Well, look at that, giving him some love and credit there. I mean, Zapman's been around forever. He's like the father time of Smite, apparently.
Who doesn't love Zapman?
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of Zapman, I have some good news, fans at home. We actually have Zapman down on the stage. Rain Day, what's going on?
What's going on, Golden Boy? Thanks for that. I got Zapman over here, and first, man, you got to respond. You got soloed.
Yeah, I got soloed. I didn't expect Maker to go that ham. He just, I don't know, he kept coming at me, and I was like, maybe I could take him. And then he popped his shell. And I said, what the heck? Why do you have shell? And then his board, Tusky, actually killed me, and I'm pissed because Tusky never does anything for me. But
he seems to have the animal taming control over there. But, it's been interesting. You all are a very studied team. You mentioned to me China's pulling out some interesting strategies that you were kind of a little unexpected about. How was that going into the game against them?
We did watch the VODs last night, and we knew they played a lot of Mercury. The Hebo caught us by surprise a little bit. It was actually a really good pick to our Chang'e jungle. Shoutouts to Pern. And and also, we never played them before, and they were just so relentless. They just kept coming at us where other teams may have tried to stall out the game and just try to farm a little bit. No, they just kept flanking left, flanking right. Best was raging, where are you guys? Come help me. And I don't know, they were really good. I feel like, if the China scene develops a little bit more and they have more competitions there and everything like that, I think they could be a powerhouse region.
That's awesome to hear. I interviewed you at DreamHack. We had a little bit of a pause in the action. I interviewed you. There was, at that point, a lot of people saying, Zap have my babies on stream. I don't know why. Now, you're a good-looking guy, but you have somebody who would be a little bit upset about that if they were saying it now. Your girlfriend's here, right? How's it feel having the support system here with you when you travel?
Oh, it's nice. Well, she's actually my wife now.
Hey, shout-outs. Shout-outs.
Yeah, so no.
Well, how's that, man?
It's really good. If I'm ever I want to go get a beer downstairs or something like that, she's like, no, you got a game tomorrow. You can't. So no, she's good. It's really great having her here.
That was a setup question, by the way. I'm trying to help you out, man. Just talk about, the girls. But moving forward, man, it's your first Worlds. I know that's what everyone's been talking about. How is it to be at HRX, to be at Worlds for the first time, and nonetheless get to the semis?
I mean, it's an incredible feeling. I mean, the fans are amazing with their glow sticks and all that kind of stuff. It's, thank you guys. And it's just a surreal feeling to finally be up on stage and not be a caster, not be a spectator, and finally be a player.
Awesome, man. I know so many people are rooting for you, and it's great to see you here. Congratulations on getting to the semis. Give it up for Team Eager and Zapman. We'll be right back on the main stage, but first we got to check out the ballroom and see what's going on over there.
Hey, I'm here in the expo hall at the Rivals booth, and I'm joined by two people who are about to play. Can you guys introduce yourselves and maybe say a little bit about your deck?
Sure, I'm Chad Wilson. I'm one of the designers on Smite Rivals. I'm using a discounted Warlords deck, so where my Warlords, every time one dies, all the other Warlords get bigger, and I'm also using the god Khepri, so he's going to offer support for the Warlords while they get bigger.
Awesome. And how about you?
I'm Dylan Kerstad, and I'm just one of the players here. And I'm using a split push deck around the boar and the fire giant. So the boar is pretty weak, but he does the most damage in the game. The fire giant is one of the strongest and with the most health. So if he gets to the phoenix, he'll destroy that or the boar. So you have to choose which one to defend against.
Awesome. Okay, so you guys are going to jump into a game, and you're going to kind of cast a little bit.
Yeah, I'll help walk us through what's going on in the game.
How's your HRX been so far?
Oh, it's awesome. It's been really fun. Just seeing everybody play. People have come up with so many new strategies now. I'm like learning about what we have in our game in terms of deck compositions. So here we go. We're actually walking into the game right now, and you'll see at the very beginning, there's no minions on the board. So you have some time to decide what card you want to play. The first card being played by Chad was that building you see in between the middle and right lane, which is called the Lost Temple. It automatically spawns warlords on an interval. And his goal really here is to get as many warlords on the board as he can, because as he said, when one dies, all the other ones become more powerful. So if you keep them on the board, you can grow a really large warlord. Sorry, I was poking somebody. Okay, so you can look at the gameplay right now, and you see Khepri's actually going down the left-hand lane. Khepri shields other units, and what's happening here is they're trying to create pressure in all three of the lanes to kind of figure out where you're going to invest your mana. You have a limited amount of mana, only 10, and so if you overcommit to a lane, you're not going to be able to defend the other lane. So you can see middle lane at the bottom is getting attacked, and at the top left, that lane's getting attacked because they committed to 2 separate lanes. The Manticore in the middle attacks adjacent lanes because he's ranged, and so he's trying to defend that left tower, but it's still going to go down. Khepri is very, very powerful. He's not going to be able to get through the Titan, and you can see the Fire Giant is now defending. So right now, go ahead.
Oh, it's just because is Khepri someone you recommend playing if someone stops by the booth?
So Khepri's actually really good, and you get him early on in our game flow. So in our game, what Khepri does is he shields nearby units, and also with his attacks, they deal splash damage. So he's very good for clearing pesky ground mobs. What he's weak to is flying units because he can't hit them because they're all the way up in the air. So in the middle lane here now, you can see that what's happening is Dylan is actually massed a great army here of 2 Manticores and a Fire Giant, and he's also putting pressure on the left lane. So Chad has to respond to the left lane with the Khepri to try and stop that push, but that leaves middle lane undefended. So now coming down middle lane is this giant high health army of 2 Manticores, the Fire Giant, and then the auto spawning minions, and it's creating a lot of pressure because the Fire Giant has Boulder Toss, Manticore has a ranged attack, and so they're attacking all the lanes and creating pressure everywhere. And so you can see now Dylan's eventually going to overrun middle lane and start creating a lot of pressure there. And he put his Boar and Thor on the left lane while he's trying to defend middle lane. He's going to snipe that left lane, potentially. Look at the Boar attack, and there it goes down. Really good play. So now they're tied 1-1, and somebody has to get another Phoenix before the time runs out, or they'll go into overtime.
Yeah, it's awesome how fast the matches are, because it's anyone's game. This is so much fun.
Oh yeah. It's really, you got to pay attention. There's a lot of depth in terms of how you play your cards and what lane you choose to put them in, and particularly between ranged and melee, because again, that army of the Fire Giant and Manticore has just been sitting in middle creating pressure in all the lanes, and Chad doesn't have a good answer for it. So here they go. They'll go into overtime, sudden death. And the next person to take a Phoenix will end up winning this match. There's a flood on the right lane with the Boar Thor, and Dylan takes it down.
Congrats. Awesome. Well, don't forget to stop by the Expo Hall and check out Rivals in person, or you can sign up online at smiterivals.com. And we're going to go on to a short break right now, and then we'll be back at hi-rez Expo.